That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are back on the fabulous interweb. Welcome, everybody. New edition of PTR Radio. It is September 4th, 2018. And we welcome all of our live listeners, as well as those listening on the podcast feed. I want to thank everybody for subscribing. Remember, if you happen to miss an episode of PTR Radio, you can always subscribe to our podcast feed. That makes sure that you never miss a minute of what is an action-packed and very informational show. Isn't that right, Mike?
Informational, okay. Action-packed. Not since we had Dean Cain on.
Yeah. I mean, you know. Well, we almost had Dean Cain on again, I think. Let's see here. What is this? I'm getting stuff in from... Oh, you're just posting.
I just turned mine back on. I think
Okay.
it just set the ones that didn't send earlier.
Okay. All right. So if you want to get in touch with the show, we have changed our number because we're poor. Because we haven't yet taken off like Howard Stern and are making millions of dollars every year.
And because it's 2018 and, you know, toll-free numbers are so last century.
Yeah. So let's see here. I'm working on it, Mike.
Okay. Wow, you can actually read that. Okay. I'm looking on my screen and I'm like, wow, that's not legible at all.
Why is it not? Hold on. I got to see what's going on.
Oh, gosh. Shaggy broke stuff again. So,
Yes, Mike.
so I have to tell you, in addition to the bad movies that we're going to review later, I watched another movie this week, Colossal.
Colossal. Okay.
Anne Hathaway, where like the giant alien she kind of controls the giant alien.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm going to say is they all the trailers made it seem like it was going to be a comedy. It was one of the darkest movies I've watched in I can't tell you how long.
It's what I'm thinking of. I think I watched parts of it. I did feel like watching it as a movie.
The male lead is Jason Sudeikis, and he is he turns into this total dick.
Uh-huh.
Like, I didn't think it was possible, but man.
Which, speaking of, I did something this week I had never done before.
Watch the NASCAR race.
No, I watched the NASCAR race. I don't know if I watched the entire NASCAR. Anyway, no, I walked out of a movie in a movie theater.
What movie?
Spider-Man Homecoming. Because it was part of the Marvel Marathon. It was an IMAX. I hadn't seen it yet, so I was like, oh, I'll go see it.
Right.
It is my absolute least favorite plot in plots. And the movie started at 10 p.m., and I found myself after an hour being like, I'm going to go home, go to sleep, because I don't want to watch this movie anymore. And I have, I'm on the AMC A-list, so it doesn't cost me anything to see a movie, which makes it easier to just walk out, I guess.
Yeah.
Just for the record, I do not like plots that consist only of people getting in trouble because they refuse to listen to other people who told them what to do.
Oh, so the whole first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead, you probably would have been out.
I do not like watching stuff. I like watching stuff where the lead character is the person who told other people what to do and they won't listen to him. That I'm fine with. If the lead character is just refusing to listen to other people who told him what to do and everything that goes bad is because of that, I cannot stand that.
Okay. Fair enough.
Too much like real life.
Yeah. All right. Sorry about that, folks. Evidently, you click the go live button too many times and it reverts back to last week's title and information.
Oh.
So I had to restart our Facebook stream, so that I could get at least something different so that people didn't think this was just a rerun. And that meant that I could get Mike's little thing working. So now, if you want to type into the show, you can get a hold of us Facebook or YouTube. Just comment on our video, or you can you can text us at 217-787-0232, or you can call into that same number and get on the air. That's 217-787-0232. That's 217-PTR-0232, because that was the closest number we could get to our original number. But yeah, so the reason why we changed our number, because I don't know
what fooled.
So the reason why we changed our number is because we were getting invited to a lot of conference calls, and we were getting a lot of faxes that weren't ours.
Yeah. And our lovely 877 provider was charging us 6.9 cents a minute for those invites.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when the voicemail limit is 2 minutes and you're getting hundreds of these,
it adds up.
Yeah.
It adds up quickly. So
we
switched
nope,
to
gotta go.
We'll switch to a local number for Colin and I. It's a long distance number for Mike, but who doesn't have free long distance now?
Exactly.
That's
like I said, that's so last century.
Yeah. I mean, really, if you can't afford a call to a long distance number now, then go to Walmart and get one of those long distance cards. All right. Where you got to dial like some 12-digit number first, and then you got to put in some like 36-digit number, and then you've got to call your destination number. Then you've got to talk to an operator to say, yes, I'm sure I want to make this call. And then they say, okay, are you from 1986? And you say, yes, here's my traveler's check number. And, then you're connected via an operator who then says, can I connect you? And then you say, yes. Yeah. And then that is all that you leave for a message.
Or if you were smart enough to remember it, you could dial 0118-999-881-999-119-725, which might connect you to the emergency response team in Britain.
Yes.
Was there like one more number, like 3, after a wait? Anyway.
But that's right.
I know people who their
you
cell
know
phone.
What? It's sad that you knew that I was missing a number.
Yes.
Oh my god!
I don't remember what the number was.
There's like a pause, and then there's like
you go through all the
1.
numbers, pause, then there's another number.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know people who have cell phones that still have the area code from like 4 cities ago.
I know. I got a call from this aunt that I didn't know that I had. Well, this great aunt that I didn't know that I had. And so it's a Michigan number, and she's trying to arrange this meetup because they want to talk about a family tree. And I'm like, well, Michigan isn't that far from where we are. And I go, oh, well, we could meet you in Chicago. It wouldn't be that bad. And she goes, oh, we're in Texas. Okay, well, that's not where your phone is from. 'Cause that's a completely wrong direction. I mean, I love number portability. Don't get me wrong, but I think if you change states, you should have to be mandated to change your number.
Why? You didn't even have to tell anybody that you moved with a cell phone.
I know, and that's the problem.
I know some people who have played that to their advantage. One of them moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
And basically works the schedule, works from 6 to 3. So it looks like they're on 8 to 5 time. And their phone number is New Jersey. So nobody's the wiser. Mm. There was one guy that the rumor was he was actually living on a sailboat and was working remote from all over the world, but somehow worked the hours so that he was still on New Jersey time.
Yeah, see, and that's what, we've started watching this Going RV on Great American Country Channel or whatever it is, because now my wife and I are really... We don't want to buy an RV, but we want somebody we know to buy an RV so we can borrow it. And I want to be able to consult, like Colin consults for people going on Disney trips.
Yes.
I can now consult for somebody who's looking at an RV because I can tell you based upon your needs. Do you need a travel trailer? Do you need a fifth wheel? Do you need a Class A or Class C? How many bump outs do you need? Is the kitchen island all that important? All these things I can tell you now. All right. With the towing weight, dry towing weight, gray water, black water, I can tell you all those differences. I can, how many air conditioners do you need? People don't think about that, but it is important. All right. 2 units, much better than 1 unit, especially if you have a dedicated unit for the rear bedroom. Maybe you need a bath and a half.
Do you want onboard or external propane storage?
Yeah. Or how big do you need your awning? Should it be powered or non-powered? These are important questions you need to ask, and not everybody knows these things. Maybe
you have a car that can be towed by it.
Maybe you need a toy hauler, all right?
True.
And how many screen porches do you need? 1 or 2? Because I bet some people didn't know that they had 2 porches, 2 porch models, but they do. Is an outdoor kitchen important, or would you rather have an outdoor TV? Now I know all these things. Bunkhouses. Oh, don't get me started on bunkhouses.
This is sounding more and more like a questionnaire for financial planning, what your goals are, than it is an RV sales commercial.
Oh, the prices. What's your budget? Could are you looking at the $30,000 to $40,000 range, or do you $300,000 range? It's ridiculous how expensive some of these get.
Yeah, okay. I've actually reduced. See, I used to be very interested in RVs.
Uh-huh.
And we used to have a pop-up. But I've reduced the checklist, the question and answer, to a single question of, I guess 2 questions, because you have to, do you need an RV?
Okay.
Question 1, do you want to go camping?
No, because some people go full time now. That's their house, their new house.
Question 2, this is the kicker. Do you have a pet?
Oh, wait, hold on. Some people are getting bunkhouses, and that's basically the doghouse.
That's the point. If you don't have a pet, you don't need an RV, because so many of the campgrounds just have permanent RVs or mini
cabins.
houses already set up, just sitting there. All you need to do is just
Yeah, what this has proven to me is the people that build tiny houses are dumb. All right, because I'd much rather have an RV than a tiny house. Because I have seen, oh God, the storage in an RV versus a tiny house. You kidding me? There are things they do in an RV.
Although some of those tiny houses are a lot cheaper than some of those.
Well, yeah, but the tiny houses aren't really actually designed to move anywhere, though. Most of the tiny houses are like, take it, park it somewhere, and leave it. You know? They're not really designed to be mobile, even though people think they're mobile. You know? Your shingles are going to fall off once you hit 50 miles an hour on the highway.
So that is on my win the lottery list. Step 1 after winning the lottery
is to get that guy from My Lottery Dream Home.
No.
Oh, we got to have an interview with him.
Buy one of those Mercedes, I think it's Sprinter?
Sprinters, yeah.
A Mercedes Sprinter
van.
RV.
Oh, no, you don't want that. That's a Class B. I can tell you all about those, too. They don't have a dedicated bathroom and shower. No, they have what's called a wet room.
You don't understand. I go and I buy it, I throw my cat in the back, and I get the heck out of town, and then I figure out what I'm going to do after that.
I don't actually like those. I've seen several of them on the show. I don't care for them. Mike, do you know at all what the hell I'm talking about here? Do you watch this show?
No.
Don't start. It's like Fixer Upper and all those other ones. You're going to get sucked in.
I have too many damn shows as it is. And they're all coming back at the same time, and they're all ending after this season.
All I can say is thank God they don't make an RV with shiplap. Or I'd have one in the driveway right now. All right.
Shiplap.
You have. How have you managed
to avoid shiplap?
Yeah, there's no shiplap in this house.
The wife wants a whole wall of shiplap in our bedroom. She goes, "Oh, we could have a focus wall of shiplap, and that could be our, we could make the headboard into it." And I'm like, "No."
You're probably getting. My mom is thinking about putting wood paneling on the wall. I wasn't thinking shiplap, but she might be now.
Ugh.
You know why you want to get out of Connecticut? Because Linda McMahon didn't become your governor.
Yeah.
Because if she did, all problems would be solved Hell in the Cell style. Rage in the Cage. Battle Royale.
Oh.
No, see, the whole reason I want to get an RV is because, and I'm looking at like, I'm not even talking RV actually. I'm talking like conversion van style camper. So like just something that has an actual bed. Doesn't even have to be. I don't care about a shower or a toilet. I don't really care about a kitchen. Just something with a bed, maybe a TV.
You want to be one of those vanners.
Generator optional.
Okay.
But because when we go up to Maine, sleeping arrangements are not conducive. And the one time that we borrowed a friend's conversion van camper to go up in, I slept in the van. And that was the best week's sleep I've had in the last 20 years.
Well, Mike, good news for you. That is a big deal right now. See? Because
what area of Maine, by the way?
About an hour and a half north of Bangor.
Because you could do...
If you want to look for the nearest town on the map, it would be Lincoln, Maine.
So here are some cool van conversions. So you could do something like this, that's got a good look for you. You even got a Vitamix thing there. Oh,
Vitamix, not to be confused with Vitamita Vegemin.
Oh, there you go. Look at that one for you.
That's a little on the playing for the other team.
That's
side.
a gypsy mobile if I've ever seen one. Oh, look at that's cute, Mike.
That's kind of like. I don't like the ladder above the door. That's like so you can go hang out on the roof when the lions come.
Oh, that one's not bad. There's another one. Look, see that bifold, bottom and a hatchback on the top. I think that might be an old bus conversion.
Yeah. There's
a Sprinter van. Oh, look, see, you could sit down and do yoga, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, look. This don't bend. This does not zen.
There you go. Oh, there you go. That's a good one. You got to leave a place for your surfboards because that's the kind of people that are in. This one's got a bathtub in it.
I don't need that.
Yeah, grow your own. You need a garden in your van. Come on, man. Life's a garden. Dig it. You know.
Oh, boo!
There you go. Look, room for the boards on top. Yeah, these people know how they're living life, man. There's your bathroom right there. Probably a little composting toilet in there.
Oh yeah,
telling you the van life. Van life. Hashtag van life. That would all you got to do is look up that.
I gotta tell you, a couple weeks ago, we went out on a Friday night, which is very unusual for Kim and I, because usually by Friday we're just both wiped out and want to go to bed. So we go out, and guy asks, friend of a friend, he's like, "Oh, where do you live?" I said, "In a van down by the river." Went right over his drunk head. You know?
Oh yeah. Oh man, we went out. Actually, we went to go see Colin's sister and nephew in a play on Saturday night. And then the play got over kind of late, so then we went out for a late dinner. And we were at a local restaurant here, not really a chain or anything. We were they have two sides to this. They have the bar side, and then they have the family side. We were over in the family side because traditionally it's just quieter over there, you know? So it was me, my wife, and my daughter just sitting there. We walked in, and we sit down, the waitress goes, "I'm going to apologize ahead of time. There's a table of 6, and they are extremely drunk. And I have no idea why they sat here on the family side, but they are super loud." And they were. Oh my goodness, were they loud. And I learned the proper order of certain things, Mike. Did you know it goes dog, cat, baby? You get things in that order? Evidently, according to this drunk couple, that's the way that it works. And they're at the cat stage. So they're looking at cats right now. I wish I had recorded the conversations because typically when you're in that setting, you know, curse words should be whispered or at least said at a normal volume, especially in a public setting. These were yelled, essentially. All right. To the point where the manager had to come over and tell these people to quiet down several times. Now, you know you're bad when you're in a bar and you're being told to quiet down.
Yeah. That's no good.
So, and we were just happy that we left first because we didn't want to be on the road with these guys. Because we asked the waitress, "Who's the designated driver?" And she goes, "Nobody."
So I'm sending you a couple links, Shag.
All right.
This is when I go camping. This is why I don't need an RV because I stay in KOA cabins like this.
So let me switch here. So yeah, so there's one.
There's a full kitchen there. There's a bedroom up on top of that loft. There's a full. There's behind where that woman's standing. Behind that wall is a bathroom. Behind that is this long, narrow room that has a bunk bed in it. And then behind that is another room that has like a queen size bed in it. And behind where the cameraman is a bunk bed. That's what the cabin looks like from the outside.
Well, yeah, I mean,
all KOAs have those.
Yeah, I mean, I would stay in that, but the difference is I would.
We got a dog, a cat, and then Colin.
So the drunk guys were right.
Yes,
but no, the RV would be parked next to my father-in-law's house,
right,
on the property. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. So you'd have electricity, you'd have water, you know, have all that good stuff.
You can rent. Which might be something you might want to look into next time.
Yeah, you can rent an RV, but that's expensive.
It depends.
Because then it's time and miles.
If you rent an RV, most of them that I saw, you only get like 150 miles a day.
Yeah, it's not very much. But one of the things I did, just like Airbnb, there is starting to be like an Airbnb for RVs now.
Yeah,
like a
but
ride share
most of them, we're taking the dogs with us, so most of them wouldn't. Anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So,
big green rolling turd.
Speaking of rolling turds, so there was a big news story out. Mike I asked for your input on it. Nabisco made a big change. Took them 116 years to make, but they changed animal crackers. Did they make them taste better? Nope. Did they did they give you more? Nope.
Nope.
What'd they do? They caved to PETA and they removed the bars from the trailers. They changed the box.
They changed the box so that the animals look like they're free roaming. So
yes.
The big joke about this is when you buy the individual pouches, like the portion controlled ones, they're still in cages. So apparently that artwork hasn't rolled out yet. But now you have a lion standing next to a giraffe, standing next to an elephant, standing next to a gorilla, which means somebody's finally going to eat.
Yeah.
And my response to it basically was, well done, PETA. You've collected millions upon millions of dollars in donations to free cartoon animals from cartoon cages.
Yes, and we're still decapitating them first before we eat the rest of their body.
Yeah. So, PETA...
I can't be the only one that ate the head first, am I?
Of course.
Depends on the animal.
I mean,
Of course. Now...
Definitely the giraffes.
Here's
Giraffes
something
had to
that-
be decapitated first.
Here's something most people don't know about PETA is they are against all forms of pet ownership. And they believe that animals should be put down rather than be adopted because adopting means you own them. To which I turn around and say, well, screw you, PETA.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna stop fur coats from being made? Fine. I get it. You want to stop the Yulin dog meat festival? Fine. You want to stop, trophy hunting? Fine. Ethical treatment, meaning ownership of a domesticated animal. If you are providing care for that animal, then you are treating that animal ethically.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you are still parading. Shut up.
It's
While you're enjoying your lovely free-range animal crackers, eat a bag of dicks, okay?
Like dogs. Dogs only exist to be our pets.
Yes, correct.
So if we didn't have them
Otherwise-
as pets, they'd all just die off.
Otherwise, they'd be wolves.
Yeah.
While we're talking about dogs, and if we didn't have them as pets, they would die off.
Yeah,
You guys
you're having fun there, are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm having fun, all right.
Yeah, your Foster found squeaky toys evidently recently, right?
This son of a bitch.
So
I couldn't remember. Did I talk about the Foster?
No.
During the last show.
Briefly, not as much as...
no, but boy, if you're not following Mike the Ape Man on Instagram and on Facebook, you're missing some cute puppy action because it is pretty darn adorable.
I do have to say that the album that all of these pictures are being shared in is for friends only. So if listeners go to find my page, they're not going to see this album.
Right.
But yes, we are fostering what is known as a pot cake puppy. If you want to grab one of the pictures off of Facebook, Shag, to put it up so everybody knows what we're talking about. We're fostering a puppy. He's 13 weeks old right now. And he is what's known as a pot cake, which is a stray dog from Turks and Caicos. Now, the islands have problems with stray dogs the way that we have problems with feral cats here in the States. And there's only so many people that live on the island, so rescue groups are bringing dogs from, and it's not just Turks and Caicos. Yeah, there he is. This was the last picture where our hero is trying to be strong like an oak, and this puppy is trying very, very, very hard to change my mind. So
yeah, it is pretty darn ridiculous. And here I'll grab one more just so that people can see how gosh darn adorable this dog is, and tell me that this dog doesn't belong on like greeting cards.
That was actually the first picture. So that was when we first brought him from the shelter to, I think he was about 10 weeks there.
Yeah.
All right, 10 weeks, and he was maybe 7 pounds. Now, in the last picture that you saw, he's about 13 weeks, and he is now probably about 15 pounds. So he's growing at a rapid rate.
Yeah, and I saw in the first one he has those puppy needle teeth.
He still does that little.
I mean, those things are ridiculous, aren't they? I mean,
you're asking me? Of course,
they are just. Oh, and this is the one. I'll tell you what. This is the one that I know we said we'd show one, but I can't help but show this one because I showed this one to my wife, and my wife goes, "Oh, I couldn't. It's a good thing we live far away because I couldn't help this one. You know, that one there."
That was when he first arrived. There he is maybe about 8 weeks.
Yeah. I'm like, you talk about puppy eyes.
So I'm just reading about pot cakes. So they get to like 45 to 55 pounds.
Yep.
So he's going to keep going.
Yeah. But that's really not...
That's not too big for a dog.
No. Just saying.
They're smaller than Labradors, bigger than Yorkies. So he's kind of like a mid-size.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the Sorrento of dogs, as opposed to the Sportage or the... I don't know what's bigger than the Sorrento. Do you have one bigger than the Sorrento? I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, no, he's adorable, and we definitely I know I enjoy following the progress and everything with him. So
as you
so
your audience.
Yes. So what the guy's referring to is on that first picture that Shaggy put up. Everybody who is friends with us from the shelter is teasing us about, okay, why don't you just say not foster? All right, just cut to the chase already. And my reply to somebody was, you don't understand. This dog just discovered that some of the toys have squeakers in them. Just discovered it at 9:30 on a Sunday night. And it proceeded to pull every toy out of the box to find out which ones had squeakers.
Yeah. Meanwhile, mine is in the background saying, "You haven't fed me yet. It's 6:30. What are you waiting on?"
I have to keep. My wife and I both have to keep reminding ourselves he's only 13 weeks. Only 13 weeks. She yelled at him during dinner last night, and he went right into his crate, and she felt horrible because he just went to his crate and went to sleep and wouldn't look at us. Like he knew he was doing something bad. I said, no, you gotta be strong.
Yep.
Strong like oak. Yoke.
Oh. We're going to talk more about movies in the second hour because we've got 2 to review. But there was news last week that Star Trek 4 has essentially lost their cast.
Yes.
All right. The major characters have not reached an agreement with the studio for their contracts. So at this point, if there's going to be another Star Trek movie, it looks like it's going to be another cast. And the more likely thing is that there just won't be.
Well, are we talking about a whole other cast, or are we talking about...
Boy, you're talking about replacing McCoy and...
Oh, McCoy is out now, too?
No, McCoy wasn't out?
Just
the Kirks?
Kirk and his father. So the Kirk, yeah.
The 2 Kirk, So
Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth.
Yep.
And people are saying, oh, well, Chris Hemsworth, he died in the first one, and he was in the past. Yes, but there was talk that they were going to do the time travel type thing or flashbacks or something to that effect. Mm-hmm. So he would have a more prominent role in the 4th movie. But salary has knocked them both out. And both of them...
I would say you could recast Hemsworth and not be too horrible about it.
There's like 15 Hemsworth brothers, okay? One of them's got to look like Chris. You can
But Pine, you can't recast James T. Kirk, the lead character.
Here's the fundamental problem here. So,
and he's trying to make up money from A Wrinkle in Time that didn't go anywhere. That's what he's trying to do.
No. The point is that he doesn't want more money. He wants the money he was already promised. He already has a contract. Here's the thing.
So what? The studio's trying to renegotiate for less?
Yes. Because here's the thing. Paramount for years used Star Trek as their cheapy way to print money. Okay?
Uh-huh.
All the original Star Trek movies were underfunded. That's why they looked pretty cheap, really, when you look back at it.
Yeah.
The Next Generation movies were just the show continued.
Yeah.
And even though they had lots of special effects, they were still pretty cheap. They definitely didn't get very good writers. So the big thing that happened with the new Star Trek is you had a big-time director, J.J. Abrams, and they had actual, real known actors, and they had a big budget. As the first time they ever did that with Star Trek, it was a huge success. Then they had a sequel, which was okay, but they really should not have done the whole con thing.
Wasn't great.
Actually, the sequel, from a box office perspective, the sequel made more than the first one.
I say, but as a movie, it wasn't great, but it was still a big budget, made a bunch of money. Okay? Then they have the third movie. The third movie was not great. It was kind of slipping back to the old Star Trek movies, cheap way of doing things. Didn't really have any reason to be.
The story was flimsy.
And the audience had already seen that from the second movie, and they didn't show up.
Yeah, and really, I will tell you what, the only part of that movie that I like is towards the end where they play Sabotage and call it classical. Okay? I will watch that part of that movie. That's about the only part that I'll watch.
So
is the big battle scene at the end.
If Paramount had a brain in their heads, what they would do is they would double down on Star Trek, put the money back into it, find someone to write a real script, find a real director. That's sort of what it sounded like they were going to do. But now they want to go, the audience is decreasing, so we want to pay the actors less money than we already promised we'd pay them. Which means that they're wanting to go into a cycle of cheapening Star Trek even more and making it worse again until it's the cycle of just being crap.
Which is odd since they've announced that they're going to do a new series focusing around...
That's CBS.
Okay, so Star Trek is split between movies and television, obviously.
Yeah, CBS owns the rights for TV. Paramount owns the rights for the movies.
Because, Mike, I don't know how you feel about Picard, but they are bringing Picard back into a new series.
Well, I like Picard, arguably my favorite Star Trek captain. However, it's going to be just like...
is it going to be just like Discovery, and that's going to be an access-only thing?
CBS.
Yeah, if that's the case, then I could care less to be...
Yeah, I'm with you there.
So
I'm with you there.
My general thought about this is I think Star Trek 4 is going to happen. However, I think they're going to sway it, and they're going to show Sulu. They're going to focus on him becoming captain.
Nah, could be. I don't know.
And it's either going to do extremely well, since in the last movie they brought Sulu out of the closet, or it's going to bomb.
Pissed off George Takei.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know. Well, I could care less. As far as I'm concerned, George Takei is just full of hot air lately. But
stop.
I have stopped following him on all social media. I got tired of him pushing every single thing that happens in the world as a gay agenda. And if it is, rightfully so. But woke up this morning and the clouds were leering at me the same way that people leered at me when I came out of the closet. No. It's a cloud. It's a friggin' cloud. Stop it.
All right, so moving on from movies back to one of our other loves, which is television. Big Bang Theory, a show which has had a very long run, all right? Arguably as long as Friends, probably just, it's the millennial Friends, in my opinion. Has said that season 12 will be its final season. So, yes. And there's a question about, who is to blame for ending it? Is it Jim Parsons? Did he say that he didn't want to be typecast any further into that role? What is it? They were getting paid millions upon millions of dollars per episode. So, or is it just time for the series to end? I know that the executive of the network came out originally and said, no, this isn't the end. We've got several more seasons. And then like the next week he came out and said, all right, this is going to be the last season. So we had a mixed message there. And everybody's trying to figure out who's to blame for the end of it. That I think the latest that I had read was Jim Parsons basically said, I don't want to do it anymore. And without that key component, which you obviously can't recast, it didn't make any sense to keep moving forward. And all the other cast members kind of agreed, even though it was a bit bittersweet.
So my theory about this is whether or not I think Jim Parsons, I'm not going to say it's about money. I'm not going to say it's about being typecast. He and Amy are married now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Raj is the only single one left. Bernadette and Howard have had a baby. Sheldon's marriage, you can only go so far with this.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think he wants to. Okay, the next logical step is for them to have a baby. And I don't want to see Sheldon as a father. I think it would ruin the character.
I think you can only play the neurotic, overprotective father card so long.
Yes.
And then you're out of plays for it. So yeah, I think it would get really old really quick.
Or he becomes this loving, caring person and all his neuroses melt away. And it's not the Sheldon that everyone has grown to love.
Yeah. Now I will admit, I'm a season behind. Mm-hmm. So I haven't even seen the marriage thing yet. But even then the show was getting a bit formulaic for me, that it was starting to become the same thing over and over.
It's already, I think, one of the longest, or not the longest running multicam sitcom of all time.
Yes.
Is that what I read?
Yes.
I think what you're just saying, Mike, I think you could do a Sheldon as father thing. As I completely making this up because I never actually watched the show. But
I'm surprised you didn't watch the show.
I know, I just never got into it.
It sure seems to me like something that would be right up your alley.
I kind of just sitcoms in general, unless it was British. Just anyway, if they wait and do like the Connors, right, are happy. If they wait a decade or longer, and then do the show coming back thing, where he now has teenage kids, and they could completely have changed the character because a big period of time has come by, that might work. But him with little kids, that's just not. No.
By the way, currently on season 11, they are at 255 episodes, which ties them with Happy Days as far as the number of episodes. They are in the top 25 currently.
Okay, so I think by the end of season 12, they will be.
I think they'll be pulling even with Cheers.
Well, it's not
because that's number of seasons.
It's number of seasons that they're talking about, and it's the multicam thing.
Okay,
it's like MASH is a single cam. Looking at that list there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's whether or not there's an audience sitting there, and they have multiple cameras going, and when they edit, they're just going between shots of the cameras, as opposed to something where it's shot more traditionally with, no audience. There's just a camera that was set up, and they did the thing in front of it, and then went to another scene.
So Mama Blair is saying she never cared about the characters, and truthfully, I didn't really start watching it live until maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago. I was catching it on reruns, which between Big Bang Theory, American Dad, Seinfeld, and the Hangover movies, you can't turn on TBS without seeing one of those 4, right? So
I never turned on TBS.
Or
I got into it. I got into it late. I saw a lot of the older episodes first.
See, and I think I started watching. I think I started getting into it in season 4, and then of course I had to watch the back catalog. So and then I did get interested in it just because it was a nerd version of Friends, and I liked Friends when it first started. So I'm a simpleton. I'll take those types of dumb, goofy comedies. So, I also really enjoyed Married with Children and, that kind of stuff. So,
yeah,
I'm not proud. I like the laugh track shows, I'll take them.
But honestly, I'm just curious to see how it wraps up, because this almost sounds like the way they're hyping it, the the new season premieres or starts what? The end of the month, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Yep.
And they're already promoting it as the final season. So that leads me to believe that the ending was not written.
Yeah. Hopefully they learned something from How I Met Your Mother.
Hopefully they learned something from
Seinfeld.
2.5 Men also.
Yeah.
You know, because this is a Chuck Lorre show.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully the ending is satisfying enough.
Yeah, I mean, and realistically enough, none of the cast will have to work again because they've all got deals with the syndication rights.
Right.
And just like Friends, the syndication is going to continue to go on for a long time, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
even
yeah, go ahead.
Even like for the last season, I think Parsons, Cuoco, and Galecki were getting $1 million an episode, and everyone else was getting between $500,000 and $750,000 an episode.
Yeah.
When you look at how many episodes are in a season, yeah, they don't have to work, syndication or not.
Yeah.
They don't have to work anymore.
Although, didn't Galecki's ranch burn down in the last fire in California?
Yeah, they got insurance. Let's put it this way: they're not going to wind up working at Trader Joe's. Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
He won't be opening car lots.
I think Galecki may very well, and depending on how the Connors does, he can very well end up back on that too.
If he goes back on that, they're going to pay him a buttload because he'll be the one bringing in the viewers.
Okay, depends how the Connors does.
Here's what I think is going to Galecki may go back to the Connors. He, at the very least, he's going to have a cameo.
He's already executive producing another show with Helberg. They're working on another Simon Helberg and him are already executive producing another show, which is starring Helberg in it.
Okay.
Which is, I believe is about the FBI, but I'm not 100% positive.
All right, so they got the Cuoco can go back to the Charmed reboot.
Oh, she's making enough money off of Priceline commercials.
Well, she's got that too, and she's married to. Isn't she married to an NFL player? Quarterback or something, or did that?
Well, she was married to a tennis player, but that fell through, and then she was dating somebody else, and who knows?
All right. Bernadette can go do porn.
Oh my goodness! Did you see that photo spread she did for like one magazine? It's ridiculous.
She and
Maya Bialik.
She can go and just. They're going to reboot Blossom.
Well,
now.
The thing is, she actually has a PhD.
She writes books.
She didn't need to do this to begin with.
No.
Well, just having a PhD doesn't mean you make any money.
No, she was, well, I mean, but she like had a PhD in like neuroscience.
Yes.
So, I mean, but she was making plenty of money anyway. She didn't have to go back into this.
Okay, but we're talking about the syndication deal. All that's going to happen, one of these stars is going to have some kind of Harvey Weinstein type scandal, and the syndication money goes out the door.
Oh, gosh. I mean, that could happen because that made him pull the Roseanne stuff off.
That is what happened with Jeffrey Owens.
No.
Okay? He was getting syndication checks, probably not as large as some of the other folks, but I'm sure he was getting syndication checks for The Cosby Show. And The Cosby Show was pulled from syndication because of the whole scandal with Bill. And now he winds up working at Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Well, he has many other things he's doing. I was reading an article.
Well, yeah, he does. But he's still got to work to make ends meet. That's what he was saying. And they interviewed him on Good Morning America, and he said, I'm not proud. Or at first I was hurt, but then you got to make ends meet.
It wasn't working at Aldi. He's working at Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's.
Are you seriously going to try and have this Aldi versus Trader Joe's debate with me? Really?
They're both Aldi.
Have you been reading the local community pages around here?
No.
In my town? Because that is a huge freaking debate. Because they're putting in Aldi right in my town.
Yeah.
And people are complaining that it's not a Trader Joe's.
Do they understand that Trader Joe's is owned by Aldi?
I cannot believe this is the same guy.
But technically, they're owned by different arms of the company. Because there's Aldi Nord and Aldi Sud.
Yes.
Which is basically North and South. The two brothers split.
They really are different companies, but they are named Aldi, so it's just fun to tell that to you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting that we bring up Jeffrey Owens. All right.
Uh-huh.
Because I was going to bring this up during the second half of the show, but it turns out he was just in a movie that I wanted to force into our rotation for the next round.
Okay.
Because my wife and I, at the behest of my mother, watched this show, and I didn't realize that it was Jeffrey Owens in this show because he looks so different than he did from the Cosby Show. And it's called Play the Game. I don't know if either of you had seen this movie before.
No.
It has Andy Griffith in it. It's a 2009 film.
That was pretty late in Andy Griffith, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but he does a good job in it. It is a romantic comedy, if you will, and it's got Marla Sokoloff and Paul Campbell in it as well, along with Doris Roberts and Liz Sheridan and Clint Howard.
Clint Howard, okay.
Yeah.
I'm in.
So, I thought the wife and I watched it, and I'm curious as to what you guys' opinions are. Now, Colin, this was as far as I know, this was a straight to DVD movie.
Okay,
or straight to streaming movie.
I'm already convinced. I'm quite happy to watch it. I'm not sure when our next episode is.
Right. But
that reminds me of. I think we need to put a list together of movies that one of us have seen that thinks need to be put on the list. Maybe just for the other two to review.
Mm-hmm.
Because we definitely need Axel on that list.
Axel.
AXL.
The movie that just came out about the robot dog?
Yes. I saw it in the theaters because I could. It's A-list. I can see movies anytime I want. And that is a movie that needed to be reviewed.
Okay. I kind of put it in the I haven't watched it yet, but I kind of thought about this. I'm like, oh, this is similar to Max Steel. It'll get no play in the theater. Nobody will talk about it, but it'll be something I'll like when it comes to streaming. Because it's a weird, techie type movie with a kid angle. And it reminds me of what they used to do on Sunday evenings.
Yes. But
you liked Monster Trucks, didn't you?
I haven't watched it yet, but I might. I don't know.
I cannot look
in it.
Yeah, but see, I look at him and I still see Havoc from X-Men First Class.
All right, but talking about the next show, because Colin, you had mentioned that you might not be available for the next show.
I will not be available for the next.
Okay, so I told my wife that. I'm like, well, Colin said he's not going to be available because his flight's leaving a little early. And she goes, oh, well, is he going back to Disney? And I said, I don't know, but it's a pretty good chance because if Colin's leaving, he's usually headed to Disney.
Yeah.
And so previous to that, I had found this article. I don't know if you had happened upon this article or not, but the title is Disney Parks Moms Panel is hiring, and if you're selected, you could win a free trip.
Yeah, I replied to that says I'm not a mom.
Okay, but here's the thing. If you've been to Cinderella's castle more times than you can count on one hand, and you don't even mind getting the It's a Small World tune stuck in your head on repeat, we have the best job ever for you. Disney Parks, which includes Disney World, Disneyland, and Disney Cruise Lines, is inviting moms, dads, and grandparents. All right? I'm sure you could expand it to say uncles. All right?
People.
Pretty much anyone who counts themselves as a Disney buff. Now, you can't say you aren't one.
No,
because you are. All right? To apply for a coveted spot on the Disney Parks Mom Panel, a popular online forum designed to supply first-hand advice to anyone planning a Disney vacation.
I'm not sure how popular the Moms Panel really is. Because what it is it is a Disney-sponsored Disney blog. And basically, everybody who posts anything on that site is being filtered through the PR department.
So, if you're rewarded, the reward if you're selected for the 2019 panel, an all-expenses paid trip to Disney World for training, plus a separate trip for you and up to 3 guests as a thank you for sharing your Disney expertise with other super grateful Disney parents. The application period's open from September 5th until the 12th. All you have to do is visit momspanelsearch.com to pitch your case about why you should be part of the magic. So, Colin, this is you.
No.
Yes, it is. You are telling people all the time.
I refuse to be controlled by the Disney PR department.
But you tell people all the time, hey, you're going to Disney. This is what you should do. You should go here, here, and here.
Now, this is actually...
And here's how you can take advantage of Disney the best.
Yeah, I like doing that. But that brings up, though, an interesting conversation I had with a coworker a couple weeks ago. He had just gone on his first vacation ever.
Okay.
He had not been using any of his vacation. Oh, he had, well, maybe, I think it's like sick time.
Yeah.
But he really had not used any of his vacation time.
Mm-hmm.
State employee.
Yep.
Not using any vacation time. So he had gone on his first vacation. And he said he'd always avoided vacations because he has so much to do. And he was afraid that if he wasn't there, he'd have stuff piled up and even more to do.
Yep.
But the vacation itself, just not being at work, was so amazing that he decided that he did need more vacation. So I gave him vacation advice. I said, okay, yes, create that list of places you want to go. That's great, because you don't want to get too stale on your vacation.
Yeah.
But think about creating your default vacation experience. Your location, where you're going to go. I need to take a vacation. I don't have time to figure out where I want to go. I have this thing that I know I'm happy with. So if nothing else, when it's time to take a vacation, I'll do that. And he went, oh, so Orlando is your default vacation. I said, exactly. Orlando is my default vacation. Short of having any other plans. Like next year, I'm thinking about doing a Vegas trip, some other stuff. But so this trip is another DVC party. This time it's at Hollywood Studios. So I get to be there at night with most of the people being gone, so I can try out the new Toy Story Land. The reason we're having to go a little bit an extra day, though, is we figured out that we wanted to do the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party as well. And that's the night before that, so we needed to get there a day earlier than we had originally planned.
I mean, but I don't know. I still think this is perfect for you. Because you do know every in and out of that park. You could probably tell people where the restrooms are.
But I don't actually like the Moms Panel very much, so that's why I'm not interested.
I
prefer
guess.
Disboards.
I guess.
House owners. So okay. Mm-hmm. So I had a little thing that I had you guys do.
Yes.
Which is, as Mike pointed out, something I don't do much, so.
When Colin asks us to do something interactive for the show, it's extremely rare.
I'll try to do it more often.
Extremely rare.
So I asked the question, what is the worst job you could have had last week? So come up with something. I can go ahead and go first.
Okay.
So last week, the worst job you could have had is to be a member of the clergy.
Oh.
Now, there are many reasons why, but explicitly, to be a member of the clergy at the funeral of Aretha Franklin is, oh my goodness, those poor guys. I mean, it's their fault, but wow. So the first one that came up, if everyone had seen this, is that one of them, a bishop, decided to make fun of Ariana Grande's name. I thought that was a new something at Taco Bell, he said. And then progressed to grope her on camera. Everybody watching couldn't help noticing that his hand was definitely groping Ariana's right breast as Jesse Jackson sits in the background looking on disapprovingly. Then it turned out that the eulogy by Reverend Jasper Williams Jr., which took, as it says here, an excruciating 51 minutes, is despised by Aretha Franklin's family. Because, well, in the entire 51 minutes, he actually failed to ever have an actual eulogy for Aretha Franklin. And apparently he spent a lot of time talking about Black Lives Matter, and apparently he doesn't like Black Lives Matter. He actually got Stevie Wonder to yell at him. So, yeah, worst job you could have had last week. Clergy at the funeral of Aretha Franklin.
All right. Well, I thought that the worst job you could have had was Viking Cruise PR director, okay? Because Viking Cruise Lines puts out that they want to start cruises that are child-free. These would be for adults only. And I can only imagine the backlash from busybody parents who have nothing better to do with their day, usually homeschoolers, who have to say, why are you discriminating against us? Our children aren't the problem. You must hate children. All these other things, merely because Viking Cruises says, hey, a segment of the population which come to our cruise say, hey, this would be nicer if there weren't these kids running around causing a muck because their parents won't pay attention to them and won't watch after them. And it's those children's parents who are saying, hey, I'm paying you a lot of money so that I don't have to pay attention to my kids during this cruise, and so that you have to take care of them. And the cruise line saying, no, it's not. You're the parent. You're supposed to do it. Back and forth. So I would hate to be the PR director who has to answer the question of, what makes you think you're so special that I can't bring my children on your boat, mister? To me, that just, it's a no-win argument, because you're trying to appease both sides, saying, hey, listen, we've got cruises that have children on them. Mm-hmm. We've got boats for that, but then we've also got boats for adults only. You know, I don't know. Plus, I don't know how other cruise lines gets away with it, because there are cruise lines which, granted, they're probably the smaller cruise lines, which have specific cruise tours. Okay. Right. Which are isolated, which like say, okay, this is the nude cruise where it's clothing optional all the time. Well, you're not going to have children running around on that one, are you? But they're not getting calls from angry parents. But Viking, I'm sure, did. I guarantee you, in the comments on the story, there are people going, this company is terrible and you should boycott it, and they're anti-children and, you know, all this stuff. But they're not. They're just trying to give you options, people. Don't hate somebody just because they're trying to give options to folks who want to pay for it.
Especially for a cruise line. Viking is a cruise line that caters mostly to retired people over 50.
Yeah.
They don't have casinos even on their cruise ships.
I mean, remember, not that long ago, we did a story about a woman whose retirement plan was to live full-time on a cruise line.
Yeah.
Do you think she wants little children running around on her retirement community boat? No. But I'm sure the PR guy at Viking got their head bit off. Mike, how about you?
You know, I thought about this quite a bit, and I guess I was thinking about it in the wrong way. Because you guys apparently understood this one a lot better than I did. Because really, the worst job I think anyone could have had last week was the president of all people. Just having to deal with the backlash of
a book
that followed after John McCain's death, and a book, and a flag, and
you think his life was pretty rough? Not knowing whether it should go up or down or halfway up, or, you know, whether he should think about himself being recorded on the telephone.
I mean, honestly, look, I don't want to get political here, but honestly, I have never seen anyone living in a nation's head rent-free to the extent that Trump is. Because half of the celebrity tweets I saw were, rest in peace, John McCain. How long before Trump says something stupid?
Mm-hmm.
And I got into an argument with somebody, or with some people online. You know, okay, yeah, it's okay. I'm Special Olympics. I argue online. But I got into an argument with people like, why do you even have to bring Trump's name in if you're paying respects?
Yeah.
Why does one have to tie to the other? You know they hated each other. And you know that the entire thing was orchestrated as a big FU to Trump. Fine. But, so the other thing I thought about was last week would have been a bad week to be in the energy drink sale business, any executive in the energy drink business, because apparently in England, the government banned the sale of energy drinks to children.
Really? I hadn't heard that one.
Right. So that led me thinking, well, the other job, if we were going a little bit earlier or later or closer to showtime, would be the chief advertising officer at Nike.
Oh, God, they are having a horrendous day. I don't know.
They're
it's an up and
exactly
down.
What they wanted.
Well, yeah, they're getting a ton of free advertising.
Yes.
They're getting a ton of free advertising, but it just popped up a second ago. Let me see if I can find it here.
I heard that their stock dropped.
Nike lost. They lost $3.75 billion in market cap.
Yeah.
After running the Kaepernick ad. Now, I am not saying this in a stance of either for or against Kaepernick. That is your opinion, whether you want to be part of that or not. My thing is, all you idiots out there who are burning your Nike gear in effigy.
Yeah.
They already got your money.
It's the same people that burn jerseys and everything else.
Well, burning a jersey, you're not doing that. Like when people burned LeBron James jerseys when he left Cleveland, they weren't burning it because they weren't supporting Cleveland anymore. They weren't burning it because they weren't supporting or they were against the company they made. They were burning it in effigy of LeBron, basically saying, you're dead to us. That kind of thing I get. I even almost get the guys that did videos after, the shootings where they took a hacksaw to
their AR-15s.
To their AR-15s, okay? Fine. It wasn't that you were protesting against the company. You were saying, I want to make sure this is how strongly I feel that we need control on these weapons, that I'm going to destroy the one that I have access to. Okay, fine. Mm-hmm. I still think you're an idiot, but okay. But burning sneakers that aren't even a Kaepernick sneaker. John Rich's sound guy cutting the Nike swoosh out of his socks. They already got your money.
You still paid for them.
Yeah. And
the trick here is, if you don't agree with it, don't buy anything Nike anymore.
Wonder what happened to Reebok's stock today. Did it go up? Did people start switching to Reebok socks?
Actually.
Or did Hanes go up?
Let's see.
The funny thing was the number of people on Twitter saying, I'm never going to wear anything Nike again. They want to switch to Converse.
Yeah, Nike owns Converse.
Yeah, Nike owns Converse. Go ahead.
Yes. Go ahead and buy a whole closet full of Converse.
My favorite was the people on Twitter who asked Colin Kaepernick if he could please endorse AR-15 rifles and go on Twitter.
Actually, Adidas stock, because Adidas owns Reebok. Mm-hmm. Adidas stock is actually down. Not much. They're down like $5 or €5, which is not a lot, but
yeah. So it's.
But let's just see Nike.
I don't know. It's just.
If anybody who's ever walked into a Nike store recently and seen the shoes that they stock there,
they're hideous.
Yeah, but they know that this advertising goes to Nike's primary clientele. So it's only going to make Nike sell more stuff.
Yeah. Now, we can't not talk about one of the biggest stories in the last 2 weeks, and it has to do with the homeless veteran who helped a stranded woman and a GoFundMe account that she and her fiance, I believe, set up for him. So there have been multiple updates on this story.
We have a request from Mama Blair.
Okay.
I don't know if this is all going to come through, and I'm not 100% sure.
Of mainstreaming in public schools when it becomes a safety issue.
For students and teachers. Where do we draw the line? Okay.
Mainstreaming.
Yeah, educate me here. What do you mean by mainstreaming in public schools? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that term.
Maybe Mama Blair should call in.
Yes.
All of a sudden, Shaggy's paranoid. Like, I think the number's going to work.
I did test it before the show. Mainstreaming is a term used in public schools to describe ways in which educational strategies are utilized to provide appropriate special education services to disabled students, assuring the least amount of disruption in routine while maximizing relationships and contact with general education peers.
Okay, so it's basically taking special ed folks and put them in regular class.
That is a topic and a half.
That's a deep topic. I think that's a
lot of words.
Mama Blair, I'm going to let you finish. But we're going to have to come back to that one because that is possibly the most intellectual topic we may ever discuss on this show.
Yes.
So we need time to formulate this. I will put it in the topics for the next show that Colin is here.
Yeah, and we will
discuss it.
I will have to study for a show. I will. I'll put up a poll in public schools. Which way should the toilet paper go? Wow. That's about. Public schools. We all went to public schools, So we all have an opinion about what goes on in public schools, and there are a ton of topics that we could cover with public schools.
But I'll give you the short answer here. The short answer, I feel that at least around here, the number of children claiming to require special education, and I'm using that as a blanket term, I don't mean as derogatory, has increased exponentially.
Yeah,
and I think a big part of the problem, a big reason that a lot of districts are doing what I think you're getting at here, is because the number of children claiming to have special needs is not, it's artificially inflated. The kids don't really have special needs; they're not applying themselves. Yeah. Therefore, it's taking away from the ones who really need it.
I believe there's a lot of misdiagnosis or improper diagnosis of either Asperger's, autism, slowed learning, whatever you want to call all the different, things that we have around us. And I think some schools, not all schools, some schools use that as a crutch to lower standards, so that then they can keep moving kids forward. I don't think we're getting the same educational quality that we used to. And, I think that's showing in the end product. All right. So, but we will definitely do some more deep digging. And I think this is something that we need to give you a real answer on, and even some real numbers on. So we can definitely look into that. And
maybe some articles to read.
Yes, we will look into some articles. And actually, we know, Colin and I know a guidance counselor at a local middle school, and we will see what her opinion is on it, anonymized, obviously, for her protection. But I will ask her what her opinion is on it, so that we can get an actual academic perspective as well, so that we come back to you with something that is actually legit and not just out of our butt.
Okay, so while we're talking, so now we can kind of transition to Bobbitt, which is the last name of the homeless man, not the guy who had his penis lopped off.
Yes, not Frankenpenis. So this is a story out of Philadelphia. A homeless veteran in Philadelphia who made headlines last year after he used his last $20 to fill up a tank of gas for a stranded motorist says he is panhandling once again and using drugs, and he has no access to the money raised on his behalf. Johnny Bobbitt gained worldwide attention when he used his last $20 to fill up a tank of stranded motorist Kate McClure in November of 2017. McClure and her boyfriend, Mark D'Amico, started a GoFundMe campaign in return, promising that Bobbitt would have a home. Bobbitt told Philadelphia Inquirer that he can't use the $200,000 left out of the $400,000 that donors raised in the GoFundMe, and he no longer has a camper or a car. McClure said the couple did all they could to help Bobbitt. Now, this is in an article that's over a week old. Bobbitt admits the important thing out of here is giving him all that money. It's never going to happen. I'll burn it in front of him, the couple said, adding that giving an addict the money would be like giving him a loaded gun. Bobbitt admits that the couple once gave him $25,000 and he gave it to relatives, friends, and spent some on drugs. He questions the couple motives and fears they may have squandered the money. So at that time, GoFundMe was investigating whether the money was mismanaged and said it will work to ensure Bobbitt receives the help and he deserves, and that the donor's intentions are honored. So that was the update back August 24th. Since then, there have been more. Mike, you want to hit with another one?
So in the interest of time, we're going to jump to today. Finds out the attorney that was working pro bono on behalf of Bobbitt discovered that the GoFundMe money is gone. And the attorneys and the couple are not responding to any inquiries. Now, it appears that they've taken the money and ran. However, we're not 100% sure if that's actually what has gone on. I mean, a judge did rule on Friday that the couple had to turn the money over to Bobbitt. Now, the attorneys for Bobbitt said that they would place the money in a trust for him, not just hand him $200,000. They would put the money in a trust for him The latest update also said that Bobbitt is going to a rehab facility. So at the very least, he will hopefully get the help he needs to kick this addiction.
And GoFundMe has kicked in $20,000.
Okay. And the rehab, from what I heard, he's going on quote unquote scholarship. So it's not, there's no financial obligation on his part. So my general thoughts on this are there's two sides to this. The first is I hate the fact that the younger generations seem to rely on GoFundMe too much.
Yeah.
The second is if you are going to do something like this, then yes, by all means, feel free to put stipulations in there. Feel free to have some kind of legal type contract with the person that you're trying to benefit. And by all means, set up a trust that only allows him access to limited funds at a given time. And if he doesn't meet certain conditions, such as
passing a drug test, etc.
Yes. However, legally, I'm not a lawyer.
No, we tried to get Colin to be the show lawyer. He went to a couple of night classes and then quit.
Legally speaking, I would think that this couple is going to be in a lot of trouble because the money is not being used for the purpose outlined in the GoFundMe.
Yeah, essentially it's embezzlement or fraud, depending upon how you look at it. So no matter which way you go, it is a large amount of money. It's not like they did $1,000.
No.
There was several $100,000 here.
It topped out around $400,000 total.
Yeah. Now,
and there's allegations that they went and they bought a brand new BMW and they went on a couple of vacations that were out of their financial reach.
Yeah.
So
and there was an admission once that money was borrowed for gambling purposes, and supposedly it was repaid, but there's no paper trail for that. So, there's all these things that are going on. And I mean, unfortunately, it is one of those things where, if someone has money, they are tempted to use it not for the right purposes. Just like he would have been tempted to use it for drugs and for other things like that, they were tempted, and it appears like they may have used it for the wrong reasons, not for what it was signed off to be used for. And that's, part of the problem.
I think it was $330 or $380 was how much after GoFundMe took their cut.
Yeah.
And some of it was used to buy a house. Some of it was used to buy a RV trailer.
There seems to be a paper trail that $75,000 or so was actually given to Mr. Bobbitt.
So from what I read, they bought a trailer which they put on their property for him to live in, and they since evicted him and got rid of the trailer. And they bought him a used SUV, which is where he came out and said that they bought a brand new BMW for themselves, but he got a used SUV that doesn't even run now.
Yeah.
Well, it turned out he didn't have a driver's license, so he couldn't really have a vehicle anyway.
Yeah. So,
and then he gave. I think there's like a big $25,000 that he gave to family members and bought drugs with. So there's different things there, but still, there's a big chunk of money not accounted for.
Yeah.
And just, going on some vacations and stuff doesn't seem to account for that either.
And like Mike said, this is where you have to be careful when you give to causes. All right. It is fine. And it is, good to have your heart in the right place and to give money. All right. But you have to have some smarts about you when you do donate. All right. Donate to well-established, well-documented, organizations that have a history of dealing with those donations and who have documentation that tell you how they deal with those donations. All right. There are legal requirements for non-for-profit agencies on how they are to run, what they are to do with the money, and how they are to report what they do with the money. And there are different resources online so that you can evaluate the different charitable organizations and the percentage of your donation that goes towards administration and the core cause. Some of them are better than others at the percentage split.
Yeah, the two websites that I always refer people to are charitynavigator.org and guidestar.org. GuideStar is very good at defining or rating charities on how transparent they are with the use of their funds, as well as how funds are utilized. Charity Navigator kind of gives breakdowns like what Shaggy was referring to. Yeah. So check those. And I always tell people donate locally.
Yes.
Right? And going back to the Nike thing real quick, if you're thinking about burning your Nikes and burning all that stuff, donate it.
Yeah.
Donate it so at least it goes to help someone who may be homeless and could use clothing and don't care about whether it's Nike or not. Yeah. Donate it. So according to ABC affiliate in Philadelphia, they started following McClure and D'Amico's spending habits beginning late last year after receiving a tip that they were not allegedly spending the GoFundMe. In just a few months, McClure posted pictures and videos of a New Year's Eve bash in Las Vegas, helicopter rides, trips to New York with front row tickets to a Broadway show, and shopping excursions. She is an administrative assistant with the state of New Jersey, making $43,000 a year.
Yeah.
He is a carpenter.
And since
they do not afford this kind of stuff.
No. And since then, it's been reported, since all this, legal stuff has been reported and the money's been requested, evidently the relationship is broken down. They are no longer together. Also, those accounts have gone private or been deleted. So, you're no longer able to track them and what they're, either one of them individually are doing. So it does beg the question of, what happened? But it's pretty clear given the picture. Now, we don't want to obviously, persecute someone without knowing all the facts and everything involved. But from all points, it looks like, they were seduced by the amount of money that was raised. So, but yeah, that's why we say give to recognized organizations if you want to,
or give locally. Yeah. So you can see where the dollars are. You can actually see where the dollars are going. People say, "Oh, well, I want to donate to the ASPCA." Okay, you want to donate to an organization that runs a shelter in New York City.
Yeah.
If you want to help animals locally, why don't you donate to any one of these charities for rescues, including the one that I volunteer at? And then you can come see what your dollars are actually paying for.
Yeah. There are, quite a few efforts around town here that basically say, do not donate to the guy standing on the corner, donate to the soup kitchen down the street. Okay? Because your dollar is going to go a lot farther. You're going to make sure that it goes to the right purpose and that it's used properly. So, it's a lot better use of your money. So, and then boy, do we have enough panhandlers in this town,
especially after
the freedom of speech ruling where we can't get rid of them. And now they're sleeping on the library, in the library.
Gotta give me 2 minutes.
Yep. So we had that story and that's a bit of an update. And, there's been a whole lot of other things in there. Colin, a few weeks ago, you talked about a screwdriver that either you purchased or you were looking at purchasing. But evidently there's another one out there that we might have to look into investing in, and it is the Tack Life rechargeable screwdriver. If I can find the actual screw gun itself, there it is. So there is and because we're all about USB here, we love USB. USB does great things. So looking at this, so we have the Tack Life cordless rechargeable screwdriver. It's just a small handheld screwdriver, with a it looks like to be a, palm size, easy to deal with. Well, what Mike found, was not only can it take every bit in the world, but it appears like it can also take a range of accessories. So some of the accessories that it can take is an offset screwdriver, a right angle screwdriver, a small multi-cutter attachment, and probably what would be the most useful around my house, an electric corkscrew. we have actually been talking about getting an electric corkscrew for a while, but gosh, they look a little dainty. But boy, if I could have one in drill form, that is all that I need to sign me off on it, really. You know, if the wife could say, hey, can you open this bottle for me? And I go, yeah, let me get my drill. Then I'm set. All right. I've almost convinced, actually, a few months ago, she's like, hey, I need a lot of pepper. I'm like, a lot of pepper? I know how to do that because we have one of the hand crank pepper grinders, right?
You watched an Alton Brown video.
And so I love Alton Brown. And so Alton Brown has the screw gun on his pepper grinder. So I said, watch this. Take the top off the pepper grinder, put the screw gun onto it, empty that pepper grinder in about 10 seconds. And, got ground pepper for days. And it was great, actually, because she needed even more. So I got to do it again. And she said, where did you learn that from? I said, Alton Brown. So if I could have a corkscrew like this, all the better.
Colin's got that look on his face like he's getting ready to piss in my Cheerios about that drill.
No.
Screw gun.
No, not at all. I was looking up who might actually own Tack Life.
So, but it definitely seemed like a drill for that could be used. You know, all those different ends and everything. You know,
the cutter, folks.
But wait, there's more. Put
an end to cutting. Imagine how much time I would save cutting the cardboard for recycling.
Yes.
Because, we get a lot of boxes in this.
Yeah, somebody told me that they ordered they were redecorating their office, and they said, it's great, I've been getting boxes every day for like last week. I said, yeah, do that for months on end. It loses its charm when you're taking an entire, 2 hours to break down cardboard once a week. I said, but yeah, it's cute the first time.
Yeah, what's just interesting is it looks very much like the Black & Decker, screwdriver that plugs into USB.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me wonder if they're,
they're stealing the Black & Decker?
No. It makes me wonder if they're coming from the same source.
Oh, definitely could. They could. But, I like it. I think that might be something so that we have to look into. You never know when you're going to need to open a lot of wine. Mike, it could be one of those crazy paint nights around here where they just start cracking them open left and right.
One of those paint nights.
Yeah, one of those paint nights. So, all right. And finally, before we get on to our double feature movie review, we've got to talk about our first crime in space. All right. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with this, earlier last week, the International Space Station sprung a leak, and a Russian cosmonaut had to plug it with his thumb until they were able to get out the epoxy and space duct tape. I'm not making things up here. All right. To plug the hole. Originally, it was thought that it may have been made by a micrometeorite, but now seems like we have a crime on our hands, Mike.
Well,
according to space forensics, it was a drilled hole, not a micrometeorite. And
space forensics, division of Tesla.
Well, actually, it's a division of Space Force. We figured we'd get the forensics team up first. So, we sent them up. We dusted everything for fingerprints, which is really messy in space. In
a statement released by Captain Saber Rain, somebody drilled it and then covered it up with whiteout.
Yeah, knowing that it would go wrong. Somebody wanted to make sure that they were far away when it let go.
Sounds like we need to get Peter Falk out of his
yes
grave and send him up there.
He's got a couple of questions to ask. The question of who put the hole in the ISS.
I'm sorry, just imagine this: the capsule talks about the space station. Door opens up. Columbo comes tumbling out. One more thing.
Smoking a cigar.
Smoking a cigar.
So, but
wearing a rumpled spacesuit.
So, but we really do. We got a mystery here. All right. We need to know if this is the end of it, or are they trying to get rid of the Russians?
No. The funny thing is, you read these stories in the American press. Well, if the Russians going, we think maybe it was a cosmonaut or an astronaut who wants to go home, and so they drilled a hole to make it, so
So they're pulling a clinger, is what you're telling me?
Yeah.
They want a Section 8?
What's hilarious is I still, hours later, looking through the U.S. press, that's all I see.
Yeah.
In the Russian press, actually the official, government-owned Russian press.
Exactly. Government-owned.
They're like...
They're going to scrub the news, tell you what they want you to know. We, living in the free press, we're going to report the real news.
They have the completely boring actual what happened thing. But nowhere in the U.S. press, they just have these crazy Russian conspiracy theories.
Excuse me, TMZ was on the scene. And we know what happened, all right?
Now Mike, we know where the damn surfer guy went.
Mike, who picked a cosmonaut for the death pool? We need to launch an investigation against any of our contestants who picked someone who's actively on the ISS. It is against our rules.
That's a disqualification right there.
Yes, it is.
There's probably somebody mad about Weird Al getting a star in Hollywood before they did.
It is funny. Weird Al gets a star, and someone looking at the stars gets attacked. There's a connection here, Mike. And Weird Al even mentioned a pickaxe, which is something used to make a hole. I say we bring Weird Al in for questioning. He knows Yoda might have something to do with this.
I don't think Weird Al's his hair would fit into a space.
I'm not sure. Depends on if he's wearing the fat suit from Eat It or not. By the way, you spent money on Weird Al's star, didn't you, Colin?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
So you helped fund a potential terrorist, is what you're telling us.
Maybe $10.
$10, Mike. How much do drill bits cost? A lot less than $10.
$10, that's half the drill.
That's right. So, I think we know who's behind this now. Colin.
Yeah, it me.
He's the one who wants to bring up the Russians and the fake news story from them. Wants to cover it up.
Now all of a sudden we're going to get... Oh, no. Let's please, because I don't want to get investigated by the NSA over some bullshit.
Moving on.
Move on.
To the double feature movie review. We had 2 movies this week, as we do every week. We had Kung Fu Yoga and Waffle Street.
I am still surprised, Mike.
Okay, we're going to start with Waffle Street.
All right, we're going to start.
I'm not even putting this up to a question. We're going to start with Waffle Street. We're going to
start with Waffle Street. And I have mine written out. Do you guys mind if I go first?
No, go right ahead.
All right. When people hear that we watch 2 little or unknown movies each episode, I often get things like, are any of them good? Or, why would you do that? Or, most of them are garbage, right? Then, once they listen to a couple of episodes of reviews, it usually confirms their predictions, and they say things like, you're not still doing that, or, you really don't have any other content, do you? My wife is constantly telling me, why don't you guys ever pick anything good? My normal answer to all these people is, we have plenty of content, and the reason why we do it is to find diamonds in the rough. The movies you wouldn't normally have seen. I'm very happy to report that this week, we have a prime example of exactly why we do this segment. Waffle Street is a movie I never would have watched, would have never heard of, and would have never even taken a second look at the box art had it not been randomly selected by our system. I'm glad to say that this movie is that diamond in the rough. It's a Hallmark movie, but with a male lead and without a breakup of a couple. It features a man going through adversity, trying to find his true passion, working towards it, and then discovering that what he needed wasn't what he thought, but something much more. It's a story with heart and drama and a little comedy thrown in. This emotional roller coaster of a film has a main character you can't help but get invested in, and if you've ever worked in food service, you'll know exactly what he's going through the entire story. A fall down a ladder into the arms of grace and salvation, this movie has everything. Including Danny Glover playing this sage, older man giving his years of knowledge and experience to a sometimes lost and most of the time true story hero. There's no question given this review that I enjoyed this movie and that for me it could only attain the rare status of Schnikes. Even though it may be off Netflix for now, I'm sure it will be back or it's worth finding on other venues. Make this a date night movie and you'll have something you can both enjoy.
It's off Netflix already?
Yeah, Colin had problems finding it the other day.
Yeah.
So we found it via other methods. I found it, but I got it on its last day.
We both found it.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, but yeah, it was captured just in case. So, I had an idea that this movie was going to be more meaningful to Shaggy than myself. Seeing as Shaggy actually has worked fast food, when I was a teenager, I shelved books in the library. So that's a much more lonely existence, thankfully. So I don't have much to say about this movie. It's a very good movie. I'm not going to give it shnikes because it isn't amazing. But I do want to hit on one thing that this movie has that very few movies do have. And that is a husband and wife who maybe have many fights, but does not have one of them being unreasonable to the other in a movie. Usually in movies, something goes wrong, husband loses the job, as it happens in this case. And in movie speak, then the wife turns out to, be a bit of a gold digger or, to just become the harpy, the hated harpy of the piece. And while those characters do exist in this movie, two of them, in fact, they don't exist in any of the main characters. And I think that's a very good thing. Anyway, it's a true story. This one was called Papa's Waffles. Mm-hmm. Real life, it really was Waffle House. A guy who's part of the whole mortgage failure of this country decides to do something real with his life and discovers, most people with blue-collar jobs actually have skills to do those blue-collar jobs. And so you can't just get a job as a mechanic, for example. But you can wait tables at a Waffle House. So, I really like this movie. It gets a smile from me. Not shnikes, but maybe even a grin. Is the grin one above a smile?
No, smile is higher than grin.
Okay, smile it is.
All right, so normally when I see that a movie is based on a true story, I get nervous. It immediately goes either way. This one, I was pleasantly surprised by. It was a good movie. I don't have a whole lot of notes on it. So let's just say any guy that gets laid off from an office job and the next day still gets dressed in his 3-piece suit. Yeah, there's something wrong with that. That's not how it happens. Day 33, where he doesn't even get dressed, that's more like day 2. Let's be clear. The unemployment video scene is exactly what I fear having to go through someday. I'm glad that she pointed out to him that no one irons their jeans. This may very well be my favorite Danny Glover movie ever, slightly behind Be Kind, Rewind. It's the toilet scene. If I could get rid of anything, even though I'm sure it's a realistic depiction of what happens in fast food restaurants, Shaggy's nodding, so yeah, I had to skip past the toilet scene. I'm not going to lie. It's sad that as far as realism, although they make a joke about it later, I noticed that the coffee is the weakest looking liquid I have ever seen poured from something resembling a coffee pot in my entire life. And trust me, I know coffee. Look at me. You know me. You know I know coffee. I gave this one a smile as well. It's another movie where I didn't take too many notes because I was actually drawn in by the story, and it started off a little bit slow, but they did a great job with character development in the limited time that they had. They didn't get too bogged down by it, but you kind of got to know just enough about all of the characters, even the supporting characters, like the regulars at the counter. You get to know just enough of them that you stay interested and you get drawn in. The lesson at the end was pretty priceless when you think about it. Almost like after school special type priceless. Definitely a movie that I would recommend if you can find it now.
Yeah.
Definitely something that's worth watching. Hopefully either it comes back to Netflix or shows up on Amazon or shows up on some streaming service. But even if you find it in like the $5 bin at Walmart, it's worth buying.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was one of the rare movies where I went around and I actually told people about it. Normally, I don't tell folks about the movies that we review because they're so bad. But I actually said, hey, listen, I just watched this for the radio show, and if you have Netflix, and it's at the time it was still there, mm-hmm. I'm like, you should give it a watch because most everybody I know their wives love Hallmark movies, and this one really did have. It had a kind of Hallmark movie feel.
Yep.
But where it really did diverge from Hallmark movies is Hallmark movies have especially the Christmas movie. Well, maybe not the Christmas movies, but like the Valentine's Day movies and all those other movies. They have this, the woman is with the wrong guy, and then, finds another guy shortly into the movie, figures out towards the end of the movie that's the right guy, and then ends up breaking up with the wrong guy and getting with the right guy. That's your typical formula for a Hallmark movie. In this case, like Colin said, it was a rare thing. The couple stayed together, and they had this display that they were strong for each other, even if maybe they didn't always believe in what the other person was doing as much as the person that was doing it. I mean, it had to take a ridiculous amount of faith for her to give up her dream house and everything else to say yes. That would have been the breaking point for a lot of relationships, I think.
And it didn't just go with she just goes, oh, whatever, honey. I mean, it's like he had to sleep on the couch for 3 days.
Yeah, there was a real, there was a basis in reality there because that would happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
I assume.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, next up, Kung Fu Yoga, which we played a little bit of on the show on the last episode to verify certain things. So
failed.
I'll go first again, if that's all right, because I have a short review this time. As per normal, last episode, we selected what we thought were 2 movies. As it turns out, we actually selected 1 movie and 1 video book. Kung Fu Yoga is not, as we had assumed, an English film. It does have several portions of English throughout it, but in general, it is a Chinese film with the odd English or Indian sentence. Now, everyone who knows me know I ain't no good at reading, so this caused me very much pain. So much so that 5 minutes in and I was contacting the other host to see if we could switch. But Mike had already read the movie, so I was stuck. So, will you like Kung Fu Yoga? Well, it all depends on if you're like my wife and are a fast reader or not. It's actually a real shame this wasn't an American film because it stole several key aspects from other good films. Primarily, though, it stole from the Lara Croft Tomb Raider series. Now, I love a good Tomb Raider story, and to also include the signature Jackie Chan style of fighting and humor would have made this an amazing film, but I just couldn't get into it because I kept having to read the dialogue. I have a very simple one-track brain, and so I have to turn off the TV when I write these reviews. You can imagine the difficulty of trying to read and watch something. My little pea brain just can't handle it. So for me, the best I can give this movie is a meh. It was good, but I was too distracted to really pay great attention to the words or the action, and certainly not both at the same time. Sorry, Mr. Chan. Please make another Rush Hour movie, and I promise I'll give it a higher score.
So, Kung Fu. Yeah, so I think all the English. So this was originally supposed to be an Indian and Chinese co-production. In the end, it ended up mostly being a Chinese production. And little known thing, here in the U.S., we consider people to speak English everybody should speak English, and which isn't the case. But in a lot of countries, such as India and China, actually they probably won't know Chinese, or if they know Chinese, they probably won't know Indian. But chances are they both know English. So any time where the characters are supposed to be talking to each other from Indian to Chinese back and forth, they switched to English, which I liked it because it gave me a reprieve from reading the entire thing. I'm very good at reading. As you know, I'm a fast reader, so that's never a problem for me. But so I think maybe Shaggy, because you had trouble with reading the movie, you actually thought the movie was better than it was.
Okay.
Because this movie had no plot. It was just, it was utter, especially because, there's no end. So, you have a princess and a prince. He looks like he's the Indian Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. But they're both trying to find this treasure, which I looked at and said, if you actually, just a side note, if you found enough gold where you had more gold than the world reserves of gold, you've just destroyed the price of gold. Congratulations, you don't have anything. Just saying. So I actually, this movie was going down below math for me because it was utterly plotless. There were some fun scenes that was pushing it back up for me. But here's the thing. And the beginning segment, the beginning sequence of this movie looks like they found a video game company and had them put together a video game of Jackie Chan, and then use that as the entire opening segment. I got to say, members of my family were getting worried that the entire movie was going to be in game vision. Luckily, that ended. My favorite part of the movie was Jackie Chan driving around with a lion in the back seat. That scene was awesome. And just because of that scene, I will give this... Ooh, I'm not even sure this is a rating, but I'm going to give it a giggle.
Okay.
I'm hoping a giggle is above meh, but not a smile. They even referenced Indiana Jones, which good on them for actually referencing it. Yeah, it was an Indiana Jones Jackie Chan movie with no plot, and then in the end, the movie ends by all the characters going, heck with this movie, let's just do a Bollywood dance segment, woo! And you're watching it going, okay, I guess we're all friends now, even though we were trying to kill each other for an entire movie. Yay! Go, Mike.
Well, it's good to know that the cobbler exists outside the U.S. All right. So my co-hosts were in an uproar behind the scenes, apparently, because I have a rule that subtitles are no-no. And we thought that this was in English. And then there's subtitles. But then they ask me, and I say, no, I watched it. Really? So, Jackie Chan looks good in full CGI. I'm just saying. I mean, that was like... that. Colin, when you said it was like game vision, I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's a video game that I would buy. I would go out and buy a system to... Who doing what?
Nothing, I got it.
All right. So... Jackie says he's fasting. Fasting for no reason. You can just get the hell out of here with that. So subtitles are on all the time, but they bounce back and forth between English and Chinese, whether they need the subtitles or not. They're there. So when they're speaking English, it's kind of like, I call it Honey Boo Boo subtitles. Because Mama June is talking, but they still have subtitles up, and you know she's speaking English. I'm just going to say that it's probably an AT&T network that's providing the cell service in the middle of the Alps. Never mind. There's a satellite dish. Okay. All right. So they're going into the ice, and let's just put the laser drilling thing off to the side for a second, shall we? Why wouldn't they fly the drone down first to see what was down the hole instead of lowering Jackie and Indo Hottie? Huge ice cave. No one's wearing spiked shoes. But then, halfway through the fight, Jackie's got spiked shoes on, so I don't know what happened. Larry Croft takes the elevator back up. Who sent it back down for the Indian George Hamilton to get back up? Ski goggles with vent holes do not work underwater. All this technology that's appearing in this movie, you think they'd know that. I kind of feel like they had to do a beach scene. They had too many attractive women in the cast to not do a beach scene. I mean, they couldn't have the auction in, I don't know, Cleveland? Jackie Chan driving with a lion in the truck is quite possibly the greatest thing I have ever seen. Hamilton jumping out of the Hummer as it's flipping in midair and without missing a step going into the coffee shop. I swear I've seen that in a Fast and Furious movie. They're in the market, and the dude gets bit by no less than 3 cobras, but he's just standing there looking dumb. I have to say that seeing Jackie Chan doing all these stunts at 167 years old is pretty freaking amazing. At least they recognize that the staff scene is straight out of Indiana Jones, and they call it out by name. Now, do you remember how I just said that Jackie Chan driving with the lion was the greatest thing I ever saw? That has been topped by the whole dance montage at the end of this movie. Best ending of any bad movie we've ever reviewed, ever. Not that it made sense. But I told Shaggy in Slack that I have gone back and watched the end of this movie no less than a dozen times. So this gets an OMG WTF BBQ, which is one step below-ish Nikes. I had to take points off because of the subtitles. If they only put the subtitles up when they were actually needed, then maybe I would feel better about it. But the fact that they were up there when the characters were speaking English, they didn't have subtitles in Rush Hour. Jackie Chan speaking English. Why did they need? If you have subtitles up, you're compelled to read them. If they're speaking English, you don't need subtitles. So, but I have one other complaint. There is two scenes about yoga.
Mm-hmm.
The one in the apartment and the one where they mention before they go swimming through the underwater cabin where Jackie Chan almost dies. She references the yoga breathing. There is no reason, based on those two scenes, to have yoga in the title at all.
Agreed.
Just saying.
And my only thing is, you're right. They did have some amazing looking women in this. And if you are going to do yoga and you are going to have women like that, the yoga scene in the apartment should have somehow had some reference or some example of Downward Dog. That should have been a throwaway joke somewhere in there.
Okay, so I left stuff out. I should have gone last.
Okay.
Because I didn't remark on stuff because I assumed that Mike would have it in his review.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm going to remark. First off, it's Kung Fu Yoga because it was a Chinese-Indian co-production. So it's Kung Fu Chinese and Yoga Indian. That's the reason why it's Kung Fu Yoga.
Okay, you could have called it Bali Chan and...
Maybe that was the original film working title.
So, okay, some other things about this movie. There were many places in this movie where they just cut from one thing to another and decide, the audience will figure it out. So we'll jump 2 weeks and skip the whole how everybody was rescued part. But before that, they decided to cut the whole, hey, let's show how everybody got caught in the first place. Let's go from them attacking everybody and winning to one guy disappearing and then cut back to, they've all been caught and are now chained up, trapped in an ice cage.
Well, I think the thing is, we're looking at this from an American perspective. No, I'm being 100% honest here. I think we're looking at this from an American moviegoer perspective.
Right.
We are not the intended audience for this film.
Okay.
We're not. The intended audience is either Chinese or Indian.
So how do you explain the entire segment of the movie that was set in an Indian-themed theme park for English people?
Indian-themed theme park for English people?
Yeah, they had a zoo section with the animals in it, which they pretended was evil lair. And then they went to this...
But that was actually in India.
And then they went to this supposed bazaar.
Right, but that was in India.
With all of these big English placards talking about the thing, and then he had theme park performers next to it pretending to do like the rope trick.
I think it was supposed to be set in India, but I do believe there is a large Indian population in Britain.
Well, and the British colonized India to begin with. Or they controlled India for a long time.
Right. I'm just saying.
And so, we
had this supposed bazaar, but each one of the acts in the bazaar has this giant sign in English explaining, this is the English, this is the, in the famous...
Because
Indian
it's a tourist trap.
Yeah.
That's the point. They had this entire segment of the movie in a tourist trap, including the bad guy's lair. I'm not saying they're bad with it.
But
I'm
I
just
don't
saying
think
I found that funny.
But I don't think that little throwaway thing is going to mean the whole message for the movie, the whole target. I don't think that's going to drive the whole target for the... I'm
just saying, I found that entire segment funny, that they did a lot of shortcuts in this movie.
I mean, the fact that the listing on Netflix actually said movie language Mandarin, all right, not English, Mandarin, means...
English.
No, it didn't say comma English. It said Mandarin. It wasn't meant for us.
Now, when I looked at it, it said Mandarin, comma, English.
That was for the captions in English, but the audio was actually Mandarin.
And English.
Okay, I'm not going to argue about it, but there wasn't, when I looked at it, it just said Mandarin. But anyway.
I'm saying, but the actual dialogue was half in English.
Right. But anyway, so I don't believe we're the intended audience for that movie.
No.
And if Netflix still had the damn reviews up, I'm sure we'd see reviews that were not in English. for the movie. I think the majority of the reviews would be from India, or like I said, the whole Bollywood dance scene at the end is not something you typically see in an American movie.
Sure.
Unless you're talking about Skip Trace, which that dance scene was amazing. All right.
Hey, that makes me, Mike, have you seen Slumdog Millionaire?
No.
You should watch Slumdog Millionaire. At least the end of it. If you liked this, you are going to love Slumdog Millionaire.
Part of the reason I like this, though, is because it's Jackie Chan.
Is Jackie Chan the one throwing acid in somebody's face in Slumdog Millionaire?
No, the dance. Jackie Chan doing dancing. Right. I remember when he was on MTV doing the Macarena.
Yeah.
And I thought that was one of the greatest things I ever saw. It's the fact that it's Jackie Chan dancing. Not that it's a Bollywood number. I can care less it's a Bollywood number.
I'm just saying, Slumdog Millionaire was pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, it does not have Jackie Chan dancing.
In fact, well, I'm going to find a link of a Indian video that I thought was hysterical. And it's not Tun. All right, we'll pick our suggestions.
All right, so let's go ahead and first one, number 8.
Number 8.
Well, first of all, how many do we have?
We have 47.
Okay, so number 8 for the first one.
47? Jesus Christ.
I went and added quite a few.
All right, number 8. Spare Parts off of Amazon. Oh, God, it's a George Lopez movie.
Oh, this is a George Lopez. So this is, and it's
still available.
I'm looking. I'm trying to find it. Prime Video.
I don't think so.
It may not be. Hold on.
Showing up as Prime Video, but it did not say unlimited.
Nope.
Hold on. Nope.
It is no longer available.
Okay. So.
Saved.
33.
33. Oh, crap.
What?
Without a Paddle off of Amazon. Nature's Call.
That's got to be Without a Paddle 2. You said on Amazon?
Yep.
Oh, hold on. You may be out. You may be you may be in luck on that one too, because I think that one's not on there either.
No, it is.
Is it?
Yep.
I only see watch trailer. I don't see actually.
No, it's there. Without a Paddle, Nature's Calling. It's 2009. I clicked on the link right from the suggestion sheet, and it's there. Okay. You know, because I never thought to just click on the damn link in the suggestion sheet to find out if it's there before. I'm making you look these up.
Yeah, but I can't.
I can't get to it from there. Hold on.
I can find it on Amazon, but not as a free to watch Prime Video.
No, it's coming up included with Prime.
Right.
I'll send you.
Yep, I got it. When I look at the direct link, it does say Prime included with Prime. Watch now. So it's weird. So I wonder if what was that, number 8?
Who's in it?
Okay, yep. The Spare Parts is not.
Oliver James,
Christopher Turner, Amber McDonald.
I think there's multiple Without a Paddles.
There are 2. This is the sequel to the original Without a Paddle.
There it is. Okay. Right.
Yep. So all right. So next. So that's.
Hold on.
Yep.
Now, do you want to force this other one?
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah. So let's see here.
If you're going to force it, I'm not going to be here.
Oh, okay. So we won't force the next one.
Oh, so Colin's not even reviewing these. Unless we pick a different
day.
Okay. Well, pick the next one here.
Have either of you watched Noises Off?
Noises Off?
How come that sounds familiar?
It's a Michael Caine, Christopher Reeve.
Oh, it's a real movie.
Yes.
Not available on Prime.
Oh, we can take care of you being able to watch it. That's not a pro.
Breaking the rules.
Carol Burnett, Michael Caine.
It is one of my family's absolute favorite comedic movies. We reference it a lot, like other people reference Monty Python films.
Why do I think I've watched this? Hold on.
Dottie, where's Dottie?
Hold on here. We'll take a look, Mike.
Everyone's always so nice to everyone.
Isn't she just, she really is, isn't she? Belinda's being all you know.
Freddie, my darling, don't you like a nice all-night tech rehearsal?
Only thing I like about tech rehearsals is you get a chance to sit on the furniture.
Oh, Freddie, my darling, it's so good to see you cheering up and making jokes.
Oh, is that a joke?
This is such a nice company to work with. It's such a happy company.
Wait till we get to Broadway in 6 months.
Wait till we get to Cleveland in 3 months. Lloyd, my darling, are you all right?
I'm starting to know what God felt like when he sat out there in the darkness creating the world.
And what did he feel like, Lloyd?
All right, that is less a preview and more 30 seconds. So,
Section of the movie.
all right. So,
Pleased he'd taken his Valium.
Mike, do we want to do that one?
Oh, I haven't hated myself recently. Sure, why not?
Exactly. I can force the wife to watch that one. What the hell? She likes Christopher Reeves, and she likes Carol Burnett, and she likes Michael Caine. And here, let's watch this, and you can complain that we never watch anything good.
I am going to suggest that we pick a backup in case we cannot obtain Noises Off before the next show.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah. How about number 9? Ragnarok. But it's not the... Oh, hold on. It may not be available anymore. Nope. Looks like it's gone. Save that one. Boy, Netflix took a lot of stuff off, didn't they?
Yeah, it's the first of the month.
Next one, number 18. Dead Drift. Cheesy, campy, fun. The uptight captain of a decrepit ship must travel to Saturn's moon Titan with a bumbling mechanic, a cheeky AI. After traveling to Titan, they'll have to survive an alien encounter and save Earth from a terrifying ancient evil. Dead Drift is a Red Dwarf meets YouTube, a screwball buddy comedy in space told by characters interacting via video communication consoles.
Well, it's only an hour and 19 minutes. Okay. So here's what we're going to say.
Yeah.
If we can get Noises Off, then you and I will review it during the next show.
Right.
If we can't, we're going to review Dead Drift.
Right.
But if we do Noises Off, then Dead Drift becomes a pick for the following show, and we only got to pick one. How's that?
Well, and if we do my force pick, then we've got the next show done.
Yeah.
So we can do play the game on the next one where Colin will be here, and then we've got 2 shows worth planned out.
Wow. Look at us.
Which there's the play the game link, Mike. It's on Amazon Prime. So, yep. Alrighty.
Okay. All right. So I guess we'll discuss when we're going to do.
So next week is Noises Off and Without a Paddle 2, if we get Noises Off. Yeah. And Mike's just going to rewatch the Bollywood scene all week. Oh, boy. Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to this week's episode of PTR Radio. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Check us out on our social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find all that. Just look for PTR Radio. As always, go to our website, ptrradio.com. It's got all the links for everything. It's also where we keep our Deadpool, Celebrity Death Pool, where we update it on a regular basis. That will be coming up here in November. So get starting to think about who your picks could be now, because it'll be here before you know it. Really, thanks everybody for tuning in, for subscribing, for being part of this insanity. Just remember, if you are looking for a podcasting app to help you on the go, Podcast Addict is one of the ones that I recommend that people use. Just to give you an idea of how many people are using it for our show. Currently, according to Podcast Addict, 546 people are paying attention to PTR Radio on Podcast Addict. We want to thank every single one of you guys for tuning in and listening. Don't forget, during the show, you can call us, 217-787-0232. And when we're not on the air, you can text us, 217-787-0232. Shoot us a text. We only accept text, not pictures right now. We are still working on that. So sorry about that. That may be something that we can do fairly soon. So with that said, Mike and I will be back here on the 17th.
Yes.
And Colin will be back on the 1st.
Yep.
So Mike and I will see everybody back here 17th regular time. That's it, folks. Stick a fork in us. We are done. I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I'm Mike the Ape Man.
Later.